a very good morning to all of you. Good morning and welcome once again to the 49th IPA 2025. And this is the final day. I see some familiar faces and a very good morning. I know it's quite early. It's 8:30, just past 8:30 a.m. in the morning here in BSD, Tangerang. But we are going to do something productive this morning on the third day of IPA. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Alia and I am beyond honored to be here again as the host for IPA's plenary sessions. And after 2 days of inspiring discussions, groundbreaking insights, and strategic connections, today we continue with more engaging sessions designed to strengthen collaboration and drive Indonesia's energy future forward. Thank you for being part of this journey, and let's begin this day, which is the final day of IPA, with the same energy and commitment that brought us here. So I just want to check the level of energy today. How are you this morning? Have you had your coffee? Oh yeah, I do love coffee too. I mean, tea is also fine, but coffee will kick it even better. Anyhow, so I know that you are ready for today. So let's start. Before that, though, I would like to say welcome to all speakers, moderators, delegates, participants, and of course, all the guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are truly grateful for your presence and your contribution to this event. And just a little bit of a background of IPA, just in case you forget it. It's an annual event, and this event is actually a gathering for Southeast Asia's oil and gas industry, bringing together the industry players, policymakers, experts, anyone who cares about energy, because energy is life, and we would like to address the future of energy. And this year's theme is delivering growth with energy resilience in lower carbon environment that underscores our shared commitment to advancing sustainable energy security across Indonesia and the region. And this convention is an exhibition is proudly organized by the Indonesian Petroleum Association with full support from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, SKK Migas, the Aceh Oil and Gas Management Agency, and co-organized by Diandra Promosindo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so now to set the tone of today's discussion, I have an opening video for you. So let's focus our attention to the screen right now and watch the video together. Here it is.
Empowering local contractors and building resilience value chain. Keberlangsungan industri hulu migas di Indonesia tidak bisa dilepaskan dari peran industri penunjang seperti penyedia produk kimia, kelistrikan, hingga pengeboran. Selama ini, industri dan kontraktor lokal telah menjalankan fungsinya dalam mendukung rantai pasok sektor hulu migas. Satuan Kerja Khusus Pelaksana Kegiatan Hulu Migas atau SKK Migas mencatat, dalam 8 tahun terakhir kontraktor dalam negeri telah berkontribusi sebesar 56% hingga 64% dalam memenuhi kebutuhan operasi hulu migas. Rata-rata nilai investasinya mencapai 6,87 miliar dolar per tahun. Sektor hulu migas juga berkaitan erat dengan 79 sektor penunjang untuk minyak bumi dan 83 sektor untuk gas bumi. Besarnya perputaran ekonomi serta penyedia barang dan jasa yang terlibat di dalam operasi hulu migas masih berpeluang dioptimalkan. Misalnya target tingkat kandungan dalam negeri atau TKDN untuk pengadaan pipa kategori Oil Country Tubular Goods atau OCTG tahun 2021-2025 baru terrealisasi 30% dari target 55%. Selain kapasitas produksi yang belum optimal, tantangan lainnya adalah ketergantungan pada bahan baku impor dan perlunya peningkatan kualitas produk lokal. Tantangan lain yang perlu diatasi adalah kompetensi tenaga kerja dan tingkat keselamatan kerja. Dukungan pemerintah juga diperlukan dalam menghadapi kendala teknis dan operasional untuk optimalisasi TKDN. Misalnya, proses perizinan, infrastruktur, dan transportasi untuk pengiriman material, dan koordinasi dengan para pemangku kepentingan termasuk masyarakat setempat. pemerintah sejatinya telah menjalankan berbagai program untuk mengatasi persoalan yang ada, seperti sertifikasi profesi, substitusi impor, hingga pengembangan produk dalam negeri. Berbagai program yang ada juga didukung dengan kebijakan seperti Peraturan Pemerintah Nomor 29 Tahun 2018. Meski demikian, sinergi dan dukungan yang lebih luas dari pemerintah masih diperlukan, terutama dalam merumuskan peta jalan TKDN, insentif penyediaan bahan baku, dan pengembangan kapasitas industri pendukung di dalam negeri. Penguatan industri penunjang dan kontraktor lokal dapat membangun ekosistem bisnis migas yang mandiri dan berkelanjutan untuk mewujudkan ketahanan energi nasional.
So that was the video. We hope that you get a little bit of an understanding of what's going to be discussed in the first panel of today's sessions. All right, now this coming session will explore how we can strengthen local contractors and suppliers to build a more resilient upstream supply chain, taking the theme empowering local contractors and building resilience value chain. And our discussion will highlight the risk, the role of domestic industries, strategy collaboration with KKKS, and policy support for local empowerment. And before we start, I would like to invite everyone to take part as well in the discussion. So you may have questions addressed to any of the speaker that will be talking by scanning the QR code, opening the question box, and submit your questions there. Is that clear? Yes, of course. All right. So now let's start with introducing our moderator of the day. Please welcome our moderator, the chairperson of the Supply Chain Management Committee of IPA, Mr. Kenneth Gunawan. Let's give a big round of applause to Mr. Gunawan. Good morning, welcome to the stage, and you may take it away.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning everyone. Without further ado, I will call all the distinguished speakers. From the first one, Pak Iskandar Daulay, the CCO of PT Bakrie Pipe Industry. Pak Iskandar, the word. Pak Iskandar is the CCO of PT Bakrie Pipe Industry and also serves as the Director of Southeast Asia Pipe Industry. With a background in mechanical engineering and finance management, he already brings 30 years of experience in the steel pipe industry. Wow, what a kind of experience, Pak, 30 years. Also, right now, Pak Iskandar, very active in ISIA. We met a couple of times in the meeting with Pak Iskandar and Guspen Migan and Yafpi Migas. Okay, the next speaker will be Pak Suraji Nugroho, my friend. Pak Suraji, please come aboard. COO Asset Solution Business Unit in Tripatra. Pak Suraji currently serves as the Chief Operating Officer in Tripatra. He joined Tripatra in 2020 as the Vice President of Business Operation and Maintenance, appointed in the COO in 2021. In this role, he has played a key part in developing asset solution with over 24 years of experience. Wow, very good experience in the track. So, Pak Suraji he spent over 21 years at multinational oil field, including Schlumberger, if I'm not mistaken. He has a master's degree in oil and gas management from Heriot-Watt University and bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from Gajah Mada University. Thank you, Pak. Welcome aboard. The next speaker will be Pak Nasri, SAK MSAK CA, the chairman of BPMA, the head of BPMA. So he has a 25 experience in the Ministry of Finance. Previously served as the head of Division of Accounting and Taxation and Risk Management at BPMA with an academic background in accounting, Masters of Science in Accounting, a Chartered Accountant certification. He is an expert in financial management, taxation, and risk management. He also has strategic experience in ensuring transparency, accountability, and effective risk management in the oil and gas industry. And the most important thing, he's a finance guy, just like me. Thank you. The next one, again, a finance guy, a very honored person, Pak Pak Nurzhan Ongaltayev. He's the current head of Slumberfee Indonesia, Managing Director of Slumberfee Indonesia. Thank you, Pak. Thank you for your time. Just come abroad in Indonesia, have a 2 decade, I think still the, yes, thank you. Still, with over 2 decades of global experience and strong international track record, including assignment in the United States, Congo, France, Algeria, and Kazakhstan as your home country. He brings deep expertise in cross-cultural leadership, that's the one we want to hear, your experience. Outside of work, he enjoys spending time coaching young talents and sharing moments with his wife, with 3 lovable daughters. Wow, what a family man. He's looking forward to traveling across to Indonesia. Good, Pak. Indonesia is very good. Okay, without further ado, I think the video already speaks for itself about the opportunity in Indonesia, about the local content that already reached 64. Yes, there is still some challenges. There is still some hurdle, but there's also a potential. So without further ado, I think I would like to start to see, to get the opinion, all the statement, the view from Pak Iskandar. The time is yours, Pak.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Kenneth. The question is, what is the point of view of the local content? Am I right? Okay. My point of view for the local content, there are few words. First, to achieve economic growth. Second, to achieve economic resilience. And at the end is the prosperity of us in the country. And then please also, I think you also may well inform, yeah? This local content is not only happen in our country, but also happen in another country. For example, I would like to share our experience last year. We, Bakrie Pipe and CAP, approved as a manufacturer list in ADNOC Abu Dhabi. And then after we approved, we went there to see what's going on in the market. At the end, the conclusion, they also have a local content that make us also, how can I say, difficult to enter the market over there. Yeah, I think, yeah, again, my opinion, everybody apply the local content. At the end is to achieve economic growth and the economic resilience of the country. That's my opinion, Pak.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you, Pak Iskandar, for your view. And then, Pak Suraji, as a Tripatra, one of the famous leading APCI contractor, I think we would like to also to see from your view how to overcome, to deliver your job, considering the local content situation in Indonesia. And also, I think it's also interesting to get your view about the local contractor in the area that you operate, because most of your operated will be in the very remote area, right?
Thank you, Pak Kenneth. Good morning, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, let me try to look into this local content, both in terms of the regional as well as the national local content, from the eye of an EPC company, right? Tripatra is one of the leading EPC company in Indonesia, and I think it becoming very important for us regarding local content. So the easiest way for me to analog is basically, Tripatra is like a tailor. So our job is basically to design the clothes, to choose the material, to look at the vendor who can actually do the sewing, make the button, in the end even to fit it, whether it fits or not, right? So if we look into those things, as an EPC company, we do need the local support, right? I think, moreover, if we look into, we do a greenfield project, Pak Kenneth and Bapak semua, I think we're gonna build a facility where there's nothing in there, right? And it's very important for us to enable the local, to be able to basically develop what we have locally, both in Indonesia as well as the local. And if we look into more, I think I will quote the survey done by McKinsey back in 2013, it was IP as well, that one of the biggest issue, or the three main issue where the EPC project got delayed, the first one is about the licensor, the delay of getting the license, right? Today we need to know very well that most of the process facility we build, we require a licensor, which is another thing that we don't have it in Indonesia. The second thing is the procurement, both good and service, and those taking quite long time. And the last one is socioeconomic. As you can see there, being able to develop local content is becoming very important, right? And if we also look into the project itself, our project is only between 3 to 5 years. If we look into what we did, for example, in ExxonMobil in Cepu, what we did in Papua as well, I think we enable the local people to be self-sustained. Right? Even today within our team in Tripatra, we have a target for a project to give back the CSR in 2 ways. From the project which is less than 2 years, it's a CSR. But if a project more than 4 years, we need to enable the local community to be EKM, right? A company that actually can self-sustain further. But if we look into that time constraint as well, once we develop them, then what will be the next one, right? I mean, we have the duty to develop this company, but it is a marathon, Pak Kenneth. It's not something where you'll be able to reach that goal immediately, right? So this is why it's very important for us to talk about all the stakeholders within this industry, right? Not just only the contractor like us, like Pak Iskandar, and also we also talk about the government, the regulator. We really need to work together, right? Because it become very important for us to be self-sustained and self-resilient. I think back when we had the COVID 2020, we can see, right? Back then we have ongoing BP project happening, and having local people, both employee on the workforces, in terms of the vendor supplier, are very important because travel are restricted, right? So if we look into the time zone, there are several points I think it's very important for us to discuss in here to raise it as well, right? The first thing is it's a long-term commitment, right? It's easy to say what are the target, but to achieve it, it's not only us. And if we look into today, in terms of the local content, if we look at the tender, Pak Kenneth, we know that it's a way. I understand that there is kind of incentive being put in place today, because when you are a company that actually committed to the local content, you have some leverage over that one. But sometimes it's misleading as well, because people trying to take the advantage of those numbers to become more aggressive, right? So I think the first thing I will say is let's look into as local content as a way for us to enable, give an incentive to people that actually own the company, they're able to achieve, like what Pak Iskandar said before. It's not only in Indonesia, everywhere they put their one, but companies that actually do well in terms of enabling this local content, there has to be something that we need to incentivize those things, right? That's the first thing. The second is, I think, it's a long marathon. Right? Me and Pak Kenneth, we like to run, and we know very well, right? We cannot just sprint, because in the end you will run out of the breath before you reach your goal. So having an FGD, all those things are very good, but what happens next is very important. So if we talk today, for example, why we behind, why don't we look at forward? What will happen in Indonesia in the next 10 years, for example, right? Which are the projects that require certain skill and all these things, right? Because we certainly cannot do it ourselves, but we need all the stakeholders, both from the contractor, from the K3S on the oil company. We also need to get the regulator and the government to sit together, put the milestone, and collaborate. And hopefully, if we have those in place, we will be able to work together, because it's one of the main reason for us to be a self-sustained country and becoming independent. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Suraji. I think the one that interesting for all of us, Pak Suraji mentioned about the commitment, the long term, and what's the future. And also I think the one that's very important is about the incentive, how we can grow this about the incentive. But I mean, long-term commitment, marathon, even you mentioned about marathon, it looks like a marriage, right? I mean, for Indonesia, as a local company in Indonesia, yes, it's a long-term commitment, how we gonna develop together, because we grow in Indonesia. But now we come to the interesting part. Pak Nasri, if you can wait a little bit moment, Pak, because we need all the direction from the BPMA. I would like to hear from you, Pak, from Pak Nurzhan. How about you as a big multinational company see this condition in Indonesia? Because you have all the chance in the world to focus your business in other part of the world. But how you see Indonesia current situation, especially about the local content situation? The moment is yours, Pak.
Thank you, terima kasih. Selamat pagi, everybody. Thank you for coming this morning, waking up so early and attending our session. It's my honor today to share the panel with all of you gentlemen. For a second, I thought that this was a CFO summit with so many finance specials on the panel. So again, thank you very much and congratulations for a successful IPA. I think it's a tremendous, it took a lot of effort, of course, but it's being paid off. So this is really, really good. So maybe, and I've heard already some of the requirements for local content, but just to summarize, there are three, in my view, imperatives for local content, and the requirement from the government or from any institution will be around local economic development. That's around, local workforce utilization, some of the services, be it logistics or some, small manufacturing. The second imperative will be around technology transfer. You can do a lot of servicing here, but if you don't transfer technology, I think that's a failure for long-term sustainable local content development. And of course, what is becoming quite apparent is the resilience of value chain in country, and at a larger scale, you want to call it energy security. Decades ago, we've been talking about globalization of economy, of the full value chain. COVID-19 hit, and I think it quickly showed us a reality that some of the localization should be in country as well. So any country that had local supply chain or value chain locally were winning back then. I remember saying that seems like COVID is gone. Now we are going back to global view, up until we start having some legislation changes or tariffs lately that also caught us off guard. I think, again, that's yet another lesson for us to rethink where we're going to place our value, essentially. So now, if you think of these three imperatives, and if I just talk about what our company have been doing along the road, but actually I would say even more important, what we're planning to do in the future, SLB, or formerly Schlumberger, has been in Indonesia for 95 years. Almost a century, I would say. That is a very long time. We have been present in this country for a long time, so even though we consider ourselves international, but I think we're one of the oldest companies in the country. So I would almost say that we're local as well at the same time. And we have had our journey, long journey, 95 years, helping the community, helping the local contractors to be developed. We have hundreds and hundreds of local suppliers who help us for our services today. We spend locally quite a lot. We train our local talents. A lot of Indonesians work abroad, and we're really, really proud with that achievement. However, I have to say that we're actually now at the turning point, not just our company, but the whole industry and the country, with all the subsea developments that is upcoming now in the coming 2-3 years. And I think we all have to be ready. We all have to be ready to relook at the way we operate in country. And I probably just a generic note, the local content shouldn't be a regulation that we just need to abide to and follow, but it should be seen as an incentive. Yes, government probably should incentivize, but it's also an incentive for us to find the right value chain where we can generate commercial value. And that is important. So it shouldn't be a burden to a company, but we should take it positively. And there are a few things that we're doing actually to cope with the subsea development, the infrastructure development. We're bringing a company called OneSubsea. This is one of our businesses that hasn't been in Indonesia. But the first step before bringing the business was to educate local people, right? Be it, agencies, government, some of the operators or our partners about how the EPC business is done in general. So this is not a normal service business. It's a long cycle infrastructure development. It's a big deal essentially. So we're trying to train a number of people who's in that ecosystem. We have already hired a number of Indonesians to actually start working abroad and get the training and practice so we can bring them for the coming subsea developments in the future. So we're investing early. So that's on people. You cannot go away without people. That's the fundamental of any local content development. The second one is actually just recently we opened up a service center of excellence in Balikpapan. We're very proud with that investment. And just to tell everybody, we're doing all of these actions without winning any single tender as yet because they haven't been announced. But we believe in the potential of Indonesia and we'll be investing quite a lot. And this is not the end of the journey. This is just the beginning of what we're planning to do. I think I'll stop there. Otherwise, it will be a long speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. I think the one that surprised me that Slumbersea already 95 years. Wow, it's longer than Indonesia. So yes, so I think one of the interesting part is, yes, you're talking about the incentive, but you also already showing the commitment for the 95 years. You just mentioned about your facility in Balikpapan, but the one that really interesting, especially maybe for Pak Nasri, is you talking about the subsea, considering a lot of potential in BPMA right now in Aceh, lying in the ocean. So it's quite interesting to see how Pak Nasri as the chairman of BPMA will guide us about the local content. So Pak Nasri, the time is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Kenneth. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I continue, I have to introduce what BPMA is for all audience because we are in the southern of Sumatra Island. BPMA is similar like SKK Migas, but only in Aceh area. So abbreviated in Oil and Gas Aceh Company. As BPMA, we as a regulator to supervise and upstream oil and gas in Aceh. In Aceh right now we have 3 exploration stages. There are offshore Southwest Aceh, or WK Sikil, then offshore Northwest Aceh, Melabuh offshore, and Aceh Energy in Biren Sigli area. Then we have 3 exploration stages. There are PT Medco EP Malaka, Pak Kenneth, then PEMA Global Energy in Block B, and TPI, Triangle Pasai Incorporated in Block Pasai. So as a regulator, we have to make sure about TKDN and local contractors. One of our key performance indicators from Minister is 60% of TKDN. We have reached above that because it is our key performance indicators. So in this local contractors, we have several strategies. There are about manpower, then regulatory, and TKDN consists of local contractors. We can see we have reached, like I said before, 60% of TKDN. Then local contractors contribute about 56 to 69%, like shown before. So in Aceh, as per May of 20 and 25, we have around 436 contractors, which mostly 90% local contractor, commodity on civil on construction, 5% on heavy and light vehicle, and another 5%. So we can see 90% local commodity in civil and contractors. It's the biggest amount to local contractors. So the Aceh need undiversified commodity, service and good and service. This will be our challenges. This is our challenges because in the daily operation we need all commodity support operation upstream and oil gas in Aceh. We hope all participants here, especially Mr. Nur, interest to invest in Aceh, include Mr. Daulay about Bakrie pipe industries. So all we here can support our operation in oil and gas company in Aceh. I think that's Mr. Kenneth.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you. We still have time, so I would like also to ask Pak Iskandar. I think you mentioned about, because it's a very proud, good achievement for Indonesia, you say that your product is already become the IML in Abu Dhabi, right? Could you share to us all the experience that you have? Finally, you can get into the IML. Is there any obstacle or any kind of experience that you can share to us?
Okay. Yeah, Pak Kenneth, I think there is no special process for that. Yeah. The first stage we apply to ADNOC, and then we get the reply from them. We need to send some documents related not only to the quality but also related to the our financial performance. And then after all the documents sent, they send their engineers to do the qualification process in our facility. And then, yes, after that, we can prove anything that we can meet the requirement or the specifications. Yes, we got listed in their approved list. Actually, if I still have time, this is also what we are hoping as the local manufacturer here, yeah, how we can contribute to the oil and gas. We are hoping that there is exchange informations from the early stage of the projects, you know, because sometimes we also feel the information is too soon. There is no time to provide everything. So yeah, sometimes we feel this is the reason how to avoid the locals. Yeah, that's the answer, Pak Kenneth.
Okay, so basically, Pak Iskandar would like to say the sharing or the collaboration in the early stage will help your company to prepare much better. So I think that's a good statement. But
not,
it will
not to us, but also to the K3S.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking not only for the big project, for the big volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pertamina already doing it through the technical frame contract. Because now in the steel business, there is a requirement for the MOQ. Okay, I found for some years of the experience, this field only need a very small quantity, this field only needs for small quantity. How about if we summarize all the requirement, all the volume need within 1 year, so we can manage the delivery. Finally, we can have the very good supply chain, because anyway, your field cannot wait, you know. Yeah, otherwise, the oil will be not pumping out from the inside.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So what you're trying to say is it will be very nice if we, as an industry, have like a long-term or integrated long-term plan. So you as a manufacturer know what you need to do at least in the next 3 years, right? So, but in the short moment, if I can go now to Pak Suraji. Pak Suraji, as an APCI contractor, of course, during the FIT, maybe you have a lot of experience doing the FIT and during the engineering. Can you also try to answer what Pak Iskandar concerned? How the involvement in the early stage with the manufacturer?
Okay, thank you, Pak Kenneth. So, continuing to what Pak Iskandar said, right? So basically, we as an EPC company do have a database of what the company can do what, and what are the level of their performances, right? So it's something where, for internal our own, but I think this can be a good one if it can be bigger, if it's a government kind of thing, all those things, right? For us, certainly when we start doing the engineering, we're going to build the design using what the requirement of the customer. And one thing to do that we cannot affect a lot actually in the licensor, right? Because they pretty much want to protect their item. But what we call the OSPL, the offset battery limit, is something where we always trying to make sure we use the local company, right? I mean, the process for doing the feed is straightforward. You will contact all those vendors, challenge their requirement on the capability, and based on our database, we can gauge how will be their capability to do that one, right? But in the end, it still goes back to the customer to be able to select which going to be the vendor going to be, right? But from the EPC point of view, we have those overview. But our overview, I will say, maximum around 4 or 5 years. And for us to be able to build the capability, like what Pak Iskandar said, right, becoming the steel producer that can meet those requirements need more than 5 years, right? So I think in one hand, we have the capability to feed those things, and I think we also have the regularly contractor forum. I mean, we used to call our vendor to sit down and see what our future project will be. But in terms of the size, it's very limited because only based on what the project will come for us, right? But if we can have this database from the vendor point of view with certain qualification, not just the vendor, we can also look into the workforce as well, then I think we will be able to be in a better position to communicate on what are the upcoming projects, right? Because if we certainly understand what the country requirement, what are we importing today, are we going to be self-sustained in terms of the item, what we need to build, and from there you should be able to derive the way I look into it on what the requirement will be and what company actually needs to certify before we be able to contribute on this kind of particular work. So what I will say is just within Tripatra we did it, but within our frame of what are the next 5 projects that we will have, and we certainly always communicate with the vendor or will come that need their support. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pak. So, Pak Nurzhan, is also going to be very interesting, although I know you're not an APCI, but of course, you as a big company, you always have a long-term plan, long-term view, especially, of course, you're not just seeing Indonesia, but you see all the Far East market, right? So how you're going to be collaborate with the local manufacturer like Pak Iskandar concerned? How you see about that?
Thank you. Actually, interesting you said that we're not EPCI company. The business that we're bringing in is actually just EPC. It has installation and services in it, of course, but it's largely EPC. So we do play. We have not played in Indonesia for a very long time because of lack of development subsea, right? But globally, we are a very well-known company. We're actually leading equipment manufacturer, but also EPC company when it comes to subsea. I think just stepping back, there was a vision yesterday that Bapak President shared to become energy hub. If I want to build around that story, and if we can become actually a hub to service also surrounding countries or maybe globally from the, local capability perspective, from supply chain perspective, I think that should be probably our mission in general. So yes, we can service Indonesia, but there are cycles in different countries, but if you create a resilient supply chain in country, then you can also go out. And Bapak, you mentioned also about your experience elsewhere outside, so I think this is what probably we should look at when it comes to local, content development. We need to have that longer-term vision in going outside, not just developing for local market. And there is an African proverb actually says, it takes a village to raise a child. And I think building on that, then it comes a cooperation, right? We all have to work together. And I know that in some tenders we compete. But one thing I can tell you is that if we help the country to develop and we bring up our supply chain to the level where you can compete internationally, it's going to benefit everybody. And we will always have enough share from the global market that we can all divide up. So I think thinking outside of what we do day in, day out, putting a longer term strategy, using this kind of platform, whether it's IPI or certain, collective cooperation that we need to do together, will go a long way. And for us to have this bold mission and push it forward, we need a very strong collaboration. Good.
Interesting, Pak. Interesting. So before I think the time is already run out, so before we have a question and answer, we already have the question and answer. Pak Nasri, if you want something to add.
Yes, mostly our local contractor is lack of awareness about TKDN, CSMS, and CIVD. So our strategy with all KKKs in Aceh, we make a forum we call Vendor Day yearly. So our local contractor can consult about TKDN, CSMS, and CIVD. Now, currently, we have made a memorandum of understanding with SK Chemicals, Mr. Kenneth, to implement about using CIVD, BPMA, and SK Chemicals. So we hope this year we can finish the memorandum of understanding. So BPMA have a CIVD system by ourselves. So in this forum day, vendor day forum, our local contractors can ask about what they need to involve in upstream oil and company contractors, because Chinese people and in the oil and gas is since 1968 when the Block B formed by ExxonMobil. It's the first the first company in oil and gas in Aceh. So we have long time history to oil and gas company, but still lack of awareness about TKDN and CSMS. We hope our memorandum and understanding with SK Chemicals finish, so we can apply our CIVD system by BPMA.
Thank you, Pak. Very interesting. Okay, so now we come to the question and part. So I think there is already one question I saw in the screen. Okay. Oh, sorry. I think the first one first, maybe from the Sulawesi. Right. Okay. From Tang Wai Lam. With more and more major IOC coming into Indonesia, how do you see this will impact the development of the local contractor? Will more competition created among local contractor? And what is your view on this? I think this will be very interesting. So, who's the one want to answer first?
I'm not sure if he's going to be the right one because he's coming from SLB. So maybe people will say that he was prepared already for me. Yeah, but maybe I can quickly answer from our side. Just yesterday we have signed several MOUs with the local partners, and they use the word partners on purpose because supplier keeps us distant between ourselves and the suppliers. Here we have to partner, especially when it comes to the EPC. And we become one family. So yes, indeed, it will create more local competition, local contractors. But again, we are going to cooperate with all of them going forward. So the answer is positive, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If I may add, actually, to continue to Pak Nur said, it is good, right? Even we are talking today that whether we have enough resources to handle those projects together. So that's my short answer. So it is good, yes. for having a lot of IOC to come to Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Pak Iskandar, do you want to add something, Pak?
Okay, I think if I remember in the 90s or in the 2000s, we have a lot of IOC here. So I must say what we can achieve now, what the position that we have now, that's also because of the IOC back in the 90s or in the 2000s. So I think personally I'm happy if they are back. I think that's my opinion, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Iskandar. Same with me. I'm also happy they're all back. So, Pak Nasri, do you have something to add?
Yes, as a regulator in Aceh, we want make increase in local contractor about 10 to 40 contractors each year. So in the major project, we already implement about the major contractor shall to join with local contractors as a member of consortium. So this method can develop a local contractor in technical capability, HSE quality, and deliver definitely transfer of knowledge to local contractor. We have already implemented that to the major project.
Thank you, Pak. Another interesting question from Dimas, LNG Japan. Is there any innovation that could be applied to empower local content or contractor? What's your opinion on a healthy mix of local and international content in the business? Wow, this is quite interesting. Is the current mix according to the regulation already optimal? Okay.
I can go first, if you don't mind. So I think that's a very interesting question. Maybe starting from the mix itself, I think it's a relatively healthy mix to what we have today, but going forward, the market is going to shift a lot into the EPC, EPCI, at least on the oil and gas side. So we'll have to get ready for that and start developing more supply chain locally, right? So that's important. You know, what kind of innovation can be implemented? I don't think, you know, local content development can be really innovated. You know, it's been there for a long time already. There is a journey that other countries have done it. But in reality, you know, every country has its own journey, right? So you cannot really copy-paste. I would say the only thing is that from the government perspective, it has to be seen, there has to be more incentive probably, the way they would sell the local content when it comes to maybe tendering, probably, you know, developing certain clusters, certain ports, free zone. But that's not really new, I would say. I would actually flip it to the companies that come from abroad to actually invest thoroughly, properly, create a framework and not do a spot investment into the local content. It has to be looked holistically and it should be sustainable. That would be my answer.
Yeah, to add a bit to what Nur said, so basically in the EPC, we talk a lot about consortium, for example. It's not about managing the risk, sharing the risk together, right? And there's no such innovation that we can change this immediately, because we talk innovation is something that changes quickly. It's a process, what I will say is. So what we need to ensure is basically those consortium work will come up with a better local company. That's what we need to measure, because there we can put the incentive and have a better local company. But if we only have the same contractor do their part only in the certain project, then there's no improvement. So we need to seize the transfer technology, and there'll be some measurement to do after the consortium to see that the local capability are being increased. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you. You want to add something, Pak Iskandar? No? Okay.
I think I will try to very short because I see the time is there will be end soon. Again, my answer is collaborations, and then in the simple word, I would like to say, it always take two sides to take a tango, Pak.
Yes.
I think that's the final answer, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Very concise, Pak. Pak Nasri, do you have something, Pak?
Yes, government has government have regulation by Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources, Resolution number 15 of 2013, concerning about use domestic local content in upstream oil and gas business activity in Indonesia. So this regulation give us a rule about what oil and gas upstream company do in Indonesia. I think beside BPMA, we have a regulation from government to strengthen our policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. I'm sorry there is one question, but the time is up. So hopefully we can answer after this session. But I think before we conclude our session, do you have a last statement from each of you, starting from Pak Iskandar? You have your statement about the overall.
Okay, Pak Kenneth, I think I'm too early. I'm already said my closing statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, if you ask me again, I think to achieve the local content at the end is to economic growth, economic resilience, etc., etc. I think all the parties need to have the collaborations. Yeah. Again. It takes two sides to take a tango.
I like your closing
That's
statement.
my closing.
Thank you. Pak Suraji, is there any key message?
Okay, thank you. From my side, I think my closing say that this is our journey together, Pak, as contractor, oil company, government, to work on this TKDN. It's not two to tango, but be five to tango, Pak. It's not only two. But we need certain follow-up, right? I think we can have a lot of forum, but without real action with milestone to achieve, it's very difficult to get this thing. But I believe this is a time for us to be, kalau orang bilangnya Pak, tuan rumah di negara sendiri lah Pak ya. It's very important for that one. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Pak. Key message from you, Pak Nurzhan.
Absolutely, thank you. So I think the last point from me would be, just to sum up, there is a massive flow of capital coming with the EPC and subsea infrastructure development. As a country, as the companies, we have to seize the moment to actually capitalize on it and create a very strong local content that can service not only Indonesia but abroad. That would be my closing statement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak.
Okay, empowering local contractor and local contents require a strategic and integrated approach, especially in Aceh. Then we have changed policies and practice to build a strong relationship between local contractor and investor to develop local industry. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Pak. So if we can conclude our session, I think it's very clear from all of the distinguished speakers. Number one is about collaboration. Local content could be achieved with collaboration, trust each other support especially, and then it's a marathon. I agree with Pak Suraji. It's going to be a very marathon. There's a long way to go. But like Pak Iskandar mentioned, how we can get or we can engage earlier together will make a bigger difference. Of course, with all of this, seeing all the opportunity that Pak Nasri already mentioned, I think we all can achieve if we all agree to hand in hand together. I think that's all for my closing statement. Thank you.
Before we close, may I say pantun?
Oh, absolutely, Pak. Absolutely.
Please say cakep. Pergi ke lapangan membawa kunci Inggris. Keselamatan kerja menjadi hal utama. Dengan kolaborasi kontraktor sebagai mitra strategis, mari kita bangun migas Aceh bersama. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much. Thank you to have closed it with a nice pantun, very Indonesian, local Indonesian. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth Gunawan, to lead the moderated session, and all speakers kindly move a little bit forward and would like to deliver mementos as a appreciation for all speakers and moderator. And for this, would like to invite Ibu Meti, also Mr. Kevin Moore, to deliver the mementos on the stage. So the session discussed on how to support local contractor empowerment, also the need for enhancing the capabilities of local contractors by providing access to essential support, strengthening the resilience of the upstream value chain, and exploring the diversification of local suppliers and materials to mitigate disruptions. And also speakers discussed supply chain vulnerabilities, the role of local contractors in risk management, and to collaborate with larger firms. All right, so now it's time for photo session. Don't forget to smile, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and once again, let's give a big round of applause for the first session of the day. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, moderator. You may all return to your seats. Once again, thank you very much, speakers and moderator, also Ibu Meti and Mr. Kevin Moore. You may all return to your seats. All right, so that was the first session, and now we are warmed up already and ready to continue with our discussion, which will revolve around roadmap for increasing Indonesia's upstream oil and gas investment. This is very timely as the commitment of Indonesian government is to achieve energy resiliency, and it is very much resounded as well yesterday by our President Prabowo Subianto during the inauguration session on the second day of IPA yesterday.